All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Country Brewster. Today we're doing something a little different. We're out in the garage and we have our big kettle out. Today we are going to be making a hard seltzer. We're going to do a lemon lime hard seltzer. It's something I've been playing around with for quite a while now. I've done it a few different ways, using hard seltzer yeast nutrient packs with clearing agents and stuff like that. And I have to say that, let the car drive by. I have to say that that's probably the more expensive way to do it. So if you're wanting a traditional hard seltzer that's clear, like you would get from the store, then by all means you're going to want to watch a different video on how to do that. I feel that for the results, it's too expensive. It's like 25 bucks for the clearing agent. It's like $30 for the yeast and nutrient pack that's needed for a healthy colony fermentation to happen, because you're just fermenting sugar water basically, so there's nothing in there. The fruits that we add to our brews really play a key role in a healthy, good colony, right? So without that, we have to add other things in there in order to have that healthy colony and have a good fermentation. And some of those I've done, even with good healthy fermentations, take forever to ferment. On top of that, they're expensive, right? So the whole reason why I like home brewing, other than it's a good hobby, is that it is a cheap way of being able to have great, awesome, delicious wines and meads and beers at home and do it at a relatively low price point, right? So I mean, you can make 5 gallons of beer for 30 bucks, instead of a case of beer at the store is, upwards of 35, 40, depending on what you're drinking. I mean, it could be even more than that. Here comes another car. It's going to be one of the downsides of being outside today is vehicles driving by, but I think we'll be able to press on. So I'm done with my little rant there. That being said, I'm going to be using, we're making a 5-gallon batch for starters. I'll break this down for those of you that want to do a 1-gallon batch, and I'll show you the ingredients list for that at the end. I'm doing a 5-gallon batch just because I can put it in one of the corny kegs I have and put it into the Keyser sitting here, and then my wife will have it on tap. So I've got 4.5 gallons of water, and then we have a half a gallon of lemon juice, a quarter of a gallon of lime juice, 6 grams of Fermentation yeast nutrient, and 8 cups of sugar. Along with that, I will also be adding in probably about a handful of dried lemon peels. That's going to help kind of give that overall lemon flavor into there. I use these in some of my beers as well, and it works out really well. You can buy pre-dried lemon peels on Amazon or through any brew company online, or if you're like me and you have a lemon tree in the backyard, then I cut them all up, I juice them, I cut them into little pieces, and then I lay them out on my dehydrator and leave them in the garage for a couple of days until they're dried out, and then I just fill this jar back up. Other option is you could go to the store and just buy lemons and juice them and save the lemon juice to do this, and then use the peels, right? So no big deal. If you were going to do something like that, you don't really need to worry about drying them first, because you're just going to rehydrate them in there, right? So if you were going to go the lemon route instead of buying the bottled stuff, and you want to sit there and juice a half a gallon of lemon juice to get the peels, by all means, go for it. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to fill this up to 5 gallons. This first part is it's not necessary, basically. I am going to be boiling my water. The reason for that is I've been playing around with my town's water supply, and I have found out that we are on a big well where I live, and that's what feeds our town. There is some bleach or chlorine, inside of the water, but it's very minimal. I can't even pick it up in a scent. And it does register on a strip, but not very much. So part of why I'm going to be boiling it is to burn off any extra chlorine that may be in the water, and to also sanitize and clean up the water. For you guys at home, if you're using bottled water, you could just skip this step, right? The thing about that is that if you're going to be putting the lemon peels in, then you're still going to want to use the kettle so that we can release what's in the lemon peels into our solution. So you would want to do that low simmer type of a situation, bring it up to that 150 to 180, whatever a low simmer looks like for you guys, and do that for about 20 minutes to a half hour or so, so that way we can get the bulk of the flavoring out of our dried lemon peels. So with that being said, I'm going to get our kettle filled up and start getting us up to temp and getting this water heated up, and then I'll bring you guys back for the next part. Okay, so while the water's starting to heat up here, I added in our lemon peels. Just so you guys know, I did 24 grams of lemon peels. Obviously, if yours are not dry, then that's gonna change your weight. Basically just a nice big handful is what you're shooting for. I figured I'd put those in there while the water's heating up, so that way they can rehydrate and start releasing those flavors into the brew here for us. I really enjoy using lemon peels in a lot of my beer recipes and stuff, and it's amazing how much flavoring comes out of these and actually transfers over into your beverage. So this is going to be a fun little recipe, though. It basically comes out like Sprite, is what my wife says that it tastes like. So it's a fun one, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and hopefully someone out there checks it out. If you guys have the ability and you want to do a 5-gallon batch, by all means do it. So, when I'm doing the hard seltzers, I'm not looking for clarity like I told you guys before. So you can get like purees and stuff like that, or you can make your own, right? I was originally going to do a peach hard seltzer today, but Walmart was sold out of the frozen peaches. Like, you could get that and throw that in your blender with a little bit of water and puree it up, or put it in your food processor or whatever, and get it all pureed, and then add that in, and then filter that back out when you're done, or put it in through a brew bag so it strains out all the chunks, or however you want to do that. So that we don't, obviously we don't want the chunks into our brew, especially if you're using a keg system. It's going to clog up your lines and stuff, so we don't want any of that transferring through. But doing it that way, you end up with like a peach color hard seltzer instead of a clear. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, I'm all about whatever is going to give me the best flavor profiles, the cheapest way, and the best product that I can make, right? And all of these that I've made up to this point are delicious. They all, my wife and all of her friends absolutely love it. So I would say that I'm shooting it right in the right direction there. So it works out perfect for them. It's easy for me. It's a lot cheaper than buying cases of White Claw or Truly or whatever, right? This is a much cheaper alternative. When all is said and done for this recipe, I'll probably be in maybe $12 with yeast and everything else. So really that's like nothing. You get a 12-pack or whatever of Truly or White Claw for $15-20 these days. So you're gonna have 5 gallons for $12. You can't beat that. And who cares if it's not clear, right? So that being said, the water's still heating up, and I'll bring you guys back here shortly. All right, let's try that again. We are at 180, so we're gonna go ahead and start adding in our lemon juice. I already dumped in 1 bottle, so half a gallon of lemon juice. 1/4 of a gallon of lime juice. Go ahead and give that a mix with our big old mixing paddle here. For those of you that make beer, understand that all of this is my beer making equipment, so using the gas burner out here to heat up 5 gallons of water is just easier than using the electric stove in the house, so it'll take me an hour or so just to get this up to a boil in the house. So, but it smells wonderful, smells delicious. With this one, because it's such a high acidity level in there, we're going to be using the Beast Lalvin 71B. I'm going to do 1 whole packet, and that should pair nicely with our 6 grams of yeast nutrient that we're also going to add in there. I'm also going to do a stepped process with the yeast nutrient, so we're going to add that in. Bottles are exploding. Or imploding, I guess, is the correct term. So, where was I? We're going to be adding the yeast nutrient. We're going to wait 48 hours, and then we're going to open that up, and we're going to add in an additional 2 grams of yeast nutrient, and we're going to let that roll. And depending on how fermentation is going after about 5 days or so, a week, if it seems like it's having a hard time, or it's slow, or it's stalled, anything like that happens, then we'll add in some more yeast nutrient. If we really have to, for some reason, having a huge issue, then we'll add in a second pack of Lalvin 71B. Typically, I don't have any issues with it. I have in the past, so that's why I say that. But on a normal basis, I don't. And that's primarily just because it's such a high acidity level. Anyone that's been doing this for a while knows that things that are all orange, or have lots of lemon in it, or lime in it, or anything like that, are the yeast have a hard time surviving and creating a healthy colony in there. So that's why we're doing such a high dose of yeast nutrient to start, so that we can give them every chance to start that colony and really get things rolling along. So I'm going to let this finish heating up. It's almost to a boil now. We're coming up on 200 degrees. So I'm going to let it boil for probably, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or so. And then we'll turn the heat off, and we'll dump in our sugar and get that all dissolved in there. And then we'll just kind of let this chill and let the temp come back down. I may or may not use my wort chiller just to get it down faster, so I'm not waiting so long. For those of you at home, that won't be necessary. And if you're using spring water or bottled water or whatever, then like I told you before, you don't really need to bring this up to a boil. I'm only doing it because I'm using my town's water supply, and I want to make sure I've got good, clean water for this. I've been using my town's water supply for about a month and a half now, and I haven't had any issues at all with any of my fermentations. Even when making beer, I haven't had any issues. I have to adjust the pH a little bit for the beer making, but other than that, I haven't had any real issues with it. So again, I'm all about saving $1 and brewing on a budget. So if I can use the water that I'm already paying for at home versus going and using gas to go to the store and fill up bottles or buy bottles or whatever, then I would prefer to do that, right? If we can do that, we should. And I recommend, for those of you at home looking into your water, you can go online and go to your city or county or whatever's website, and they will tell you all of what's in your water and all the ratings and the pH and how much chlorine and all of that stuff. Is all public information for you to look into. And then you can always buy like a pool test kit, and just pour a glass of water out of your tap and see where you're at. Now, if you take a shower and you smell chlorine, like when I lived in Phoenix, our water always smelled like chlorine. If that's the type of water you're dealing with, then I probably wouldn't use it, because you're never going to get all that chlorine out of there. But if you don't smell chlorine in your water and there's nothing crazy in there, you're probably okay to use your regular old tap water, you know. For me, I live out in the country, and that's why we're on a big well system out here. I mean, we definitely pay for that water. I will say that. We've got the highest water bill I've had in my whole life out here, but you know, it's good clean water, it's good drinking water, so I would recommend looking into it. You know, if you can save yourself a couple of dollars on water, heck, why not, right? So, like I told you before, I'm gonna let this sit here for a little while and get up to a boil, and then I'll bring you guys back. All right, so we're back. It's been boiling for 15 minutes or so now, so we're gonna go ahead and I just turned the heat off and made a mess, of course. Keep splattering. It's got really strong lemon lime smell to it. Smells like a lemon tea or something along those lines. Really good flavoring. We're gonna go ahead, turn the heat off. Like I said, I'm gonna add in our 8 cups of sugar. Okay, go ahead and give that a mix again. Get all that sugar dissolved in there. I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys in and let you see what this looks like. So that's basically what we're looking like. Go. All right, so I'm gonna, like I told you guys before, I'm gonna let this cool off, get it down to our working temperature, and then we'll go from there. All right, see you guys soon. Okay, one more thing before I forget. Lately I've been forgetting this for some reason and putting it in later. We need to add in our yeast nutrient while this is still warm. So we're gonna do that. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and give that another mix. So another thing too, I wanted to tell you guys, so I am an affiliate for Amazon now. So down in the comments, I'm going to be putting a list of everything that I use in my videos. So all of that will be down in the video description. If you could click on those links when you purchase things that you see me using in the video that you like, I would greatly appreciate it. That helps, you know, buy things like sugar and the nutrients that I use and stuff like that, and helps me stay afloat for making these videos for you guys and showing you all these fun recipes and stuff, and it just kind of helps the overall growth of the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. So going forward in all of my videos down in the description, I will put that down there. I'll try and remember to make that a point in the beginning of each video also. There's just certain things that I use in my videos and the ways that I do things that people get curious about and they're interested in them, so that'll make it nice and easy. So I'll put the links to those down in the description for you. So I'm gonna finish letting this cool down. We're at like 190, so I may set up my work chiller and get it going a little faster for us so that we can get this done. But yeah, so I'll see you guys back shortly. All right, so I realized that if you don't make beer, you probably don't know what a work chiller is. So basically, we just have a copper coil down in here. And those lines go over. This is how I do it. Some people just hook a hose up to one end and you just let the water spray out to the side. I fill a bucket up with water. I have a small pump down there and I keep these 1 gallon jugs in the freezer so that they're frozen blocks of ice, and then I just circulate the water in through this bucket over the block of ice and keep the water cool. Once the block of ice is completely defrosted and the water's hot, then I dump it out and fill it back up. So I only waste 10 gallons of water instead of what other people do, where they have it hooked up to the hose and it just wastes until it's to the temperature you want. Like I said earlier, my water is expensive, so I try to minimize the waste of it. But yeah, I just wanted to take a second and show you guys that. We are down to 140 degrees. So once we get down to 100, I will transfer this over into the carboy and bring it in the house. It's 100 degrees outside, so getting it below that while we're outside is difficult. So I will bring that in the house, and then it will just sit in the carboy until we get it down to about 80 degrees or so. That'll probably take about an hour sitting in the house or so. So yeah, once we are ready to throw the yeast in, I'll bring you guys back and show you that part of the process. So take it easy. All right, so we are back. Took a few hours, I'd say, to get it down to a workable temp to where I feel comfortable throwing the yeast in. So here's our 5 gallons of the lemon lime hard seltzer. We're gonna go ahead and take our starting gravity. See what we're working with here. All right, 1040. Okay. A little bit of a mess. Happens. Alright. Like I told you guys earlier, we're using Lalvin 71B. I call it the Beast. There we go, that's better. I feel like it just works extremely well. All right, so there we have it. I'm gonna also be using a blow-off tube, just in case this decides it wants to get a little crazy. For those of you that aren't familiar with a blow-off tube, this is it. Just got a hose stopper goes in, and then you have a bottle of sanitizer, and you just put the hose down in there like that. Let's see here. You do something along those lines right there. So, and that will act as your airlock. What that does is it gives you a little bit more airflow in case you have a real crazy startup. It keeps this it's a bigger hole. It keeps it from clogging up as easy, so you don't have any issues. I can actually. This is a beer I have going, and it's chugging right along over here. It's a very happy fermentation. So yeah, that's how that works. So as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys check out this recipe. I appreciate all of you guys out there that are watching these videos and keeping up with me. It's super helpful. I appreciate all of my subscribers and stuff. So until next time, I think we're going to be doing a hard cider next. Just a good old traditional hard cider. I have my own little twist that I put on it. Hard cider is one of those that everybody kind of does their own little thing on, and we all kind of have the same basics, but we all use different ingredients and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys and letting you guys try it at home also. That'll also be another big batch that we'll do there. So yeah, thanks again for checking out Country Brewster, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Forgot to tell you guys too, you want to add 3 boxes of raisins to that hard seltzer. So have a great day, you guys.